Hello! Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Bethany. I'm an opera singer who has fallen for a lot of scams, and I'm here to share everything I've learned and debunk some of the scammers that are out there. So I know it seems like I am obsessed with Amy, but I found the third part of the stories as well as her live that she did. So we're gonna wrap up Amy. We're gonna, at least for now, we're gonna react to this stuff and then we're gonna wrap it up. And I also feel strongly that I watched a lot of anti-MLM content as I was healing and deprogramming from having been in Beachbody for 7 years. And I love so many anti-MLM creators and they do such great work, but I really felt like the top body huns were not getting the heat that they deserved. I was introduced to a lot of interesting characters as I was consuming this content, and I just felt like I think DC was the only person who covered Amy. And I was like, finally, someone is covering her because she's a very mean person. And she did a lot of stuff, when she was at the top of Beachbody that deserves to be called out. And as she continues on in her next grift, she deserves to be called out. So I do have my cat in here with me today. She is sleeping on my bed. See her? Hi. Say hi to Dove, say hi to the people. So there she is. So there's the cat tax. Yeah, so let's get into Amy's story that she shared so we can complete the last video, and we're also going to watch her live. So I've watched the stories and I already have some thoughts, but I haven't watched the live, so this will be a very authentic reaction to her live. So here is the last part of the stories that she shared the other night that I reacted to the first two of.
While the No Rules Branding School may have only come into fruition about 4 months ago, it's been something that has been brewing inside of me since my first child. If you've been around, you may remember a story.
So I believe she had her first child in 2019. I believe that because I remember she was doing Shaun T's, he released that Step Up workout, Transform 20. And I believe that was 2019, January of 2019. And she was doing it when she was about to pop and kind of doing it to be like, all right, let's go. Let's move things along. So this has been brewing in her mind for 5 or 6 years. And she's just now doing it coincidentally when Beachbody decides to go affiliate. I call bull on that. I'm sorry, I don't believe it. And part of the reason is that a lot of top body huns had other things that they started during the last few years as Beachbody has been declining. They've done, like, Ashley Molstad started being a life coach, and Melanie Mitro had a podcast. So many of these other top body huns started other entrepreneurial endeavors, started their own businesses in other ways. And yet she's like, oh, it's been brewing. I wanted to do this. Yeah, sure. It only came into fruition 4 months ago, coincidentally, when Body went affiliate. But I've totally been thinking about it before then. Okay, sure.
Sure, Jan.
A whole rant I did for a while about the 5 a.m. rule when I had my first baby and I had a newborn. I was like, these success principles are not created for moms, working moms. They're not created for people who are not workaholics, who have good work-life balance. They're created by hyper-masculine women and men. Where is the space, or type A individuals? Where is the space for the creatives who also want to live a very free lifestyle, but also need to get it done and need to embrace that bit of the masculine energy in order to make it happen, but also honor their feminine flow.
Okay. I could go on a whole rant about masculine and feminine energy in these spaces and in the internet. And you know what? that's happening. I'm going to look up like masculine and feminine energy coaches on Instagram, and we're going to react to some of that content because I have so many strong feelings about that. I think it's so toxic. First of all, just the whole idea of there being masculine and feminine energy in general, and the fact that we label them masculine and feminine energy. So, first of all, if you've never been exposed to this concept, here's what it is. Masculine energy is the action energy. It is the get stuff done. It is go out and conquer. It is work really hard. And feminine energy is receptive and creative and being in flow and playing and all this stuff. And already I'm sure you're probably seeing why that's problematic, but I will explain anyway why it's so problematic. It is incredibly toxic and harmful to men. It is infantilizing and condescending to women. And it's just stupid that we label these things masculine and feminine anyway. Everyone has to have action energy. Everyone has to work towards things in their life. And labeling that as masculine is everyone has to do it. Everyone also needs to relax and receive and be in creative flow. And labeling that as feminine is infantilizing to women and saying like femininity in general is not hardworking and is meant to be coddled and is meant to be, not doing, not conquering, not, it's also harmful to men because it's like men can never be creative, which is already a problem. We already don't have enough men in creative pursuits, and they are mocked for, or there's also like some homophobia to that, like mocked or degraded for pursuing music, the arts in general, dance, all these things. It's like, oh, are you gay? And there are a lot of gay men in the arts because they are not fussed about their masculinity as much. But just the idea that like hustle culture is masculine and creativity is feminine is harmful to everybody. We all need to be able to relax more. And also, like, capitalism is the problem, but we all need to hustle sometimes, and we all need to take time to rest. And a lot of us are not getting enough time to rest because of wage stagnation and all of this stuff. And I firmly believe more people would be creative and there would be more art and creativity and innovation and all sorts of things if wages hadn't stagnated. And then also the idea that things that are feminine or things that women do aren't work, aren't labor. Creative flow, creative labor is labor. It is hard work learning an opera roll. I have a system. I have step by step that I do when I'm learning an opera roll. First, I translate the whole thing word for word if it's not in English, which a lot of them aren't. And then I go through and I translate it colloquially. And then I learn the rhythms. So I'm learning everything. As I'm learning the rhythms, I'm like speaking everything in rhythm, and I'm reading, both the language it's in and the translation. So I'm learning in the translation into like my body and my memorization, so that then when I add the notes and I'm learning the music, I know what I'm saying. I know the emotion. I know exactly word for word what I'm saying. And by the time I'm learning the notes, it informs my musical decisions, so that once I have all the notes and rhythms learned, it's very easy for me to make musical decisions and acting decisions because I've already learned the translation so well. So anyway, I have that whole system. That's how I learn an opera roll. And it is hard work. And if you're in a creative life, you have to hustle a lot. You have to do a lot of auditioning. You have a lot of work you have to do on the back end in order to be able to get to a place where you're performing and you're enjoying making music with other people. And even that is hard work. Tech Week is one of the most stressful things we as actors and singers have. And performances are a very small part of what we do. It's just being creative. If you're an artist, I'm not, I'm a performing artist, but if you're a visual artist, it's a lot of work to paint something, to sculpt something, to design it on the computer, graphic design. Everything is labor. And then the last part is the idea of when women are in their feminine energy, they're not laboring, as if like society has a problem with devaluing things like domestic labor and childcare, and people in MLMs in these online entrepreneurship spaces reinforce that by being like, oh, if you do this MLM, you get to be at home with your kids and you don't have to work. And childcare is really hard work. It is so hard work, and it's 24/7, and it reinforces this idea that your life is so much easier if you don't have to go to an office. And that's just not true, because childcare and housework, cleaning, cooking, it's never ending, and it's hard work. So everyone has to do hard work, no matter whether that work is coded as masculine or feminine, and everyone deserves the time to relax and recharge and be in creative flow and not have, I think even when you're doing that creative labor, not having the pressure of finances on you allows you to be in that creative labor. So for example, if you have a downline supporting you, yeah, you can get more creative and you can be in your flow. Okay, that was a whole rant about masculine and feminine energy. I still have to critique her for talking about masculine and feminine energy, because she pushed and I'm going to use the phrase masculine energy, but having already done my rant, you know that I don't believe this is manly or masculine. She pushed that on her downline so hardcore. She was a huge fan of Grant Cardone. She was like, read Be Obsessed or Be Average, read the 10x rule. The Grant Cardone is very problematic for so many reasons. But she was obsessed with those books. She liked Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which if you haven't checked it out, The Financial Diet has a breakdown of Rich Dad, Poor Dad here on YouTube. And then also the If Books Could Kill podcast has a breakdown of it. And it's basically, the thesis is, in order to get rich, you have to scam other people. And if you're not scamming other people, you are being scammed and taken advantage of. Don't be a stupid teacher, be flip real estate and scam people and underpay your employees, because if they're willing to get underpaid, they deserve to be underpaid. It's horrifying. And it makes a lot of sense that she was at the top of an MLM with that kind of mindset. But she was very hyper masculine, and she encouraged that hustle culture in her downline. And now, in recent years, the idea of being in feminine energy has taken off on TikTok and Instagram and some of these places. And she's now capitalizing on that. And people are burnt out. Like, hustle culture, boss babe, lean in was the thing in like the 2000s or like 2010s, like mid 2010s. And in the last few years, there's been a reaction to that. And some of that has taken the form of like, oh, I want to be in my feminine energy. But it's really just people are burnt out from working really hard, and we shouldn't need a side hustle. You know, a 9 to 5 should be more than enough to meet all your basic needs. You shouldn't need a side hustle. And that is the fault of greedy CEOs and unregulated late stage capitalism and billionaires hoarding wealth, and not the fault of us for not finding our masculine and energy and feminine energy balance and needing to have a side hustle because we're not good enough or not being ambitious enough. Like, if you work 40 hours a week, you should be able to afford rent, utilities, food, some fun stuff, a pet, a child if you want children, and to be able to take a couple vacations a year. I think that's reasonable. But alas, this video is not an anti-capitalism rant. And although that has been a part of it, it is an scammer rant, so we will continue.
That's where I come in, because I've just realized, like, it's not rigged for the creative. It's not rigged for the creative. And that doesn't mean that you can't create crazy results.
By the way, this is my Beauty and the Beast coated water tumbler. Isn't it so beautiful? It's from Corksicle. I'm not affiliated.
Just need to learn how. Especially in the industry that I was in previously for like 14 years, it is dominated by type A, hyper masculine energy.
And that is exactly how you were, Amy. You were exactly like that. You were like hustle culture to the max. You encouraged people to read Be Obsessed or Be Average and the 10X rule. And you were obsessed with these hyper masculine figures in personal development. And you were what you were berating your downline all the time. Just work harder. I'm in the top 10 every year because I work so hard. You were exactly like that. I don't know where she gets off thinking she's so different from all the other top Beachbody coaches. Everybody's different and unique, sure. But she's exactly the same if you zoom out and you erase, like, if you're not like zoomed in and looking at everyone's little personality differences, if you're looking at like the generalities, she's exactly the same as every other top coach in Beachbody. I think she was like a little bit different at the start because she didn't have kids. She didn't have kids until she had already like been at the top of the pyramid for a long time, whereas a lot of the other women got in, they were already stay-at-home moms. So they had a little bit more like conservative Christian stay-at-home mom, like that kind of typical MLM person. So she wasn't like that. She was more of a free spirit, covered in tattoos, no kids. But then she had kids, and she's still like a white blonde stay-at-home mom. Like, she has a little bit more adventure vibes. She's not a Christian, which is fine. I guess that makes her different from the typical MLM, but she's not that different. And she was very much pushing hustle culture and hyper masculine energy. And she's the same as all these other women at the top of MLMs. When it comes down to it, she's willing to have other people lose money so she can fund her lifestyle. And she wants to feel special, and she wants to feel like she's different and she's somehow not the same as all these other top MLM girlies, but she is.
This, like, you know, like, there's nothing wrong with that if that's like how they want to be, but there was nothing there for me. So I had to create my own way to pay my own success in that industry, because there was nobody like me who was creating a space for women like me. And so now that I'm not in that industry anymore, I'm noticing, especially when I've been doing my one-on-one coaching, is that there's still this very huge, there's a lot of confusion around how to create, you know, a lot of money and a lot of...
You don't know how to create a lot of money. You made a lot of money off of a downline. Probably 90% of them you never even had a conversation with. You make money. Oh, this is a good freeze frame. I'm going to use that face in a thumbnail. Okay. In MLM, your personally sponsored people that you bring in, you can recruit as much as you want, but if they don't recruit people, and if the people under them don't recruit people, you can't make the type of money that Amy made. So she made a lot of money off of the people under her working hard, and the people under them working hard. And that's not just my opinion. That's how Beachbody specifically worked. I can review other MLMs and I can say, in my opinion, allegedly, and like all MLMs are the same, but I was in Beachbody. I know how it worked, and I know how her organization was set up. And I know that she made money off of the depth and the people recruiting people who recruited people. So how do you know how to make money in a small business? You don't.
Freedom, but also as a creative and somebody who wants to do it their own way. And so that's where I come in. I want to help you.
How are you a creative? You've never come up with an original product. You sold Beachbody products and you sold this opportunity. You're still selling, oh, I can help you get rich. I can help you get a social media following. I'm going to increase your social media and it's not going to feel like work. This is the oldest con in the book. You can get rich without having to work hard, without having to hustle, without having to do the things that make you uncomfortable. You can just be in your feminine flow and your creativity and just be yourself and make a lot of money. That doesn't work. I'm sorry. It didn't work for people in MLM. It worked for you because you got in early and you capitalized on that. Like 2011, there was not, the anti-MLM movement had not taken off. The market was not saturated yet. P90X was still the big thing. And it was still, Beachbody was just starting on the upswing and you got in, and sure, yeah, you worked hard, but I'm sorry, you can't just sit back in creative flow and have money rolling in unless you have a giant downline. Somebody's doing the labor. Somebody's doing the labor for you.
Create a custom approach to creating the life that you want. And first, you have to start with the foundation of being able to find the customers. And that's where people really lack education, especially with social media. Karen brought me my protein shake.
Okay, how are you going to find your customers if you don't niche down? In the last video, she's like, we're going to have you find all these, build your social media, and you don't have to niche down and you don't have to micro niche. It's like, well, you have to find customers that resonate with you. So you can't have it both ways. You can't be like, oh, you're going to just get this giant following. It's like she's saying you don't have to niche down to give this, like, the underlying thought of you can have everybody in the world. And also you have to find your specific customers. Also, I wonder if she's still drinking Shakeology or not. Like, does she still have the body affiliate link? I didn't see it on her Instagram. Did she just get rid of body all the way? Or is she still like having her body storefront so that she can still make money off of those customers who keep buying those products? I don't know. She said in that video we reacted to, the initial, that she was like, me and my customers, like, we aren't buying from you anymore because of the way you treated me. So I wonder what protein shake she's drinking now.
But let me tell you, somewhere along the way, you have believed the lie that for some reason, like, you can't create the success in the life you want unless you are like somebody else. And I just want you to know that the most unique part of you is what is going to make you successful. And if you don't believe this, if you don't understand this, if this isn't something that you completely and totally understand, but yet you want to have success in your social selling business or in your small business or, whatever it is that you want to do, if you can't attract people to you because you don't even know who you are, or you're not convinced that that is enough, you are 100%.
Okay. So I looked at her Instagram, and also I happened to follow MLM Exit, and they had breaking news. So breaking news, Epicure is the first MLM to go down in 2025. So I'm not familiar with Epicure, so I'm going to have to look up what's going on with that, and we'll talk about that at another time. But I did look at Amy's links that she has on her Instagram, and it's just her stuff. So right now she doesn't have any like body stuff on there. She doesn't have any other like affiliate links for other companies, brand deals, anything like that, which you could say is more ethical. And you could also say, well, you're trying to teach how to grow on social media and make money on social media. And how are you making money on social media now that you're not with Beachbody? Like, you haven't scored any other brand deals. I guess she is trying to use her success in Beachbody and the following that she gained in Beachbody as proof that she's successful as a social media guru person. But she hasn't built any other business on social media. So this is the one she's building right now. We'll see how successful it is. Any amount of money she makes with it, I'm sure she's going to turn around and be like, oh, look, I made all this money in my business. But it's all just selling the idea that you can make money while being authentically yourself and being in feminine flow. Okay, whatever. So, yeah.
So in the No Rules Branding School, we are going to change that, and you are going to leave after that 12 weeks feeling so empowered to be yourself, having an endless amount of things that you can post, and having success in your business.
This next one that we're going to watch, obviously she's in a blitz right now because she just finally launched her no rules branding school. And here's where she went live. And I have not watched this. So we are going to, this is a fully live reaction.
Long time no.
And she's in her car again. I don't know if her kids are Girl Scouts or whatever. So I am completely going in blind, and we're going to see how this goes. So she can be a little bit all over the place on her lives and a little bit word salady. So let's see how this goes.
See, I just got my teeth cleaned. Do they look clean? They look very freaking white. She's like, talking about whitening strips, and she was like, or whitening, and she was like, your teeth should look a little whiter after this. Well, she is correct. Hi, it's been a minute, and I've been really just like thinking about what I want to bring to social media, what I want to bring to Instagram. I have a really fun series planned that's starting soon next month, and I also want to do more spontaneous lives. I want to stay consistent with weekly lives. I fell off.
Please do more lives. It'll be like endless reaction content for me, because when these Huns go live, they say all these contradictory things and they just they reveal themselves accidentally, and it's so great.
Off with the end of the year, just like we all did. And I just want to normalize the fact that like you can start your year whenever you want. I did an Ask Me Anything question box in my stories. So if you want to go pop a question into there really quick, I'm going to be going through some of those. And I don't want to keep this to like an hour-long thing.
You know what? I have to say this before we continue. I got a comment on my last video that was a really good point. And she asked, why, if these women made millions of dollars, why are they moving on to their next grift? Why don't they just retire? Why don't they live off their millions? And first, we have things like lifestyle inflation. When you are in an MLM, part of the job is showing how much money you made so you can recruit other people into it. So when I was in Beachbody, I bought things that I couldn't afford. I went on trips. The free trips that you earn actually got me into credit card debt, because you have to buy your flight, you have to buy the transportation from the airport to the place, you have to pay the gratuities for all of the things you do at the resort. It can really add up, and you have to pay the taxes on the trip too. And there were other trips I went on that weren't Beachbody official trips, but I felt like it would show. Like I went to Thailand, which I absolutely do not regret. It was amazing. But a part of that was like, oh, I can show people that I can take a vacation whenever I want, and look how fancy it is, and look how amazing my life is. So then maybe they'll want to join Beachbody, and then I'll actually make enough to afford these trips. So you are constantly going on all these trips and trying to show off your lifestyle, show off your house that you bought, your fancy cars. And I know this, again, I do not judge anyone who gets any cosmetic work done, but it is very big in MLMs to look very conventionally attractive. And so a lot of people get plastic surgery, Botox, fillers, hair extensions, all the treatments, and those costs add up too. So it could be that a lot of these Huns, even if they did make millions, which again, they're deceptive about that, that's often revenue. Even the top Huns who are profiting off of everyone else's labor still have to buy their stuff every month. And they spend a lot of money to look a certain way and to portray this lifestyle. And they, so they want to keep that up. And then the second reason, to answer this commenter, they become extremely self-centered and they think of themselves as celebrities. So a lot of them do attract this following. And I've mentioned Amy's following of 140K actually not being that impressive in the grand scheme of things when it comes to influencers, but it is still a lot. And it is a lot of people who followed her because of her success in Beachbody. And so Beachbody puts you on stage at these events, and she got used to people coming up to her and wanting pictures with her, and people hanging on her every word and taking notes when she talked so they could try to have her level of success. And she would run team calls, not only for her own team, but she would be a guest speaker on other team calls. And she was someone who was in the Slay Squad. And so she does have this following, and she can do things like ask me anything on her Instagram, and people will ask her all these questions. So it's this egotistical, like, I'm really important. I'm kind of a celebrity. People admire me. People look up to me. So they either move on to another MLM, or they start life coaching, or they start their, like, Instagram branding business or something, because the attention is addictive. And they have convinced themselves, and the culture of the MLM has reinforced that they are important and that they are better than 99% of people. It's not just that the business structure only allows for 1% of people to succeed. It's that there was something about them that was better. And it's because they did more personal development, or they were more authentic, or they were blah, 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 whatever. They think they are legitimately better than people. And they love the attention and the adoration that comes from all of these people looking up to them. And they want that to continue. So that, I think, is the main reason. Even if Amy was smart with her money and they invested properly and they could live off their investments, she wants that attention. She wants to feel important. She wants to feel superior to so many people. That's what it is.
So I'm going to talk fairly quickly. I'm also going to post the link to my free masterclass here in the comments for you if you want to go check it out. That's happening on Sunday. And so, because I'm going to be talking, some of the questions I'm going to be answering are going to be in response to some of the questions I'm going to be answering.
I mean, just the fact that she wants to do weekly lives, like, as if all these people, she loves the sound of her own voice. She loves, the fact that people will show up to her lives and comment and ask her questions. And, like, look, we all love that. Like, I hope to get to a point in my YouTube channel where I have enough subscribers that I can do lives and I can interact with you guys more. I think that's really fun. But what does she actually have to offer? I feel like when I watch other anti-MLM content creators do their lives and they have people interacting with them, it's more like we're all in a community together, and not, oh, you are looking up to me and I'm the all-wise knower of the secrets to life, and I'm here to, like, condescend to you and tell you my tips for becoming a rich, amazing woman. When I watch anti-MLM, when I watch a Julie Joe live or an Erin B's live, it's like everyone's getting together and pulling apart the logic and pointing out how harmful these things are. And people in the subscriber pool are contributing. They're saying, oh yeah, like, I'm a doctor, or I'm a scientist, or I'm a whatever, and this is flawed for such and such reason. And then the content creator will put that comment on the screen and be like, thank you so much for contributing. Because the anti-MLM creator, like Erin or Julie, is not like, they're just facilitating the space. They're not like, I'm better than all of you. You know what I mean? I think that's an important difference. So
the masterclass will help with what you asked. Okay, so let's jump right in. Maybe I should stay.
Like, I'm not hosting a masterclass. I actually do have a master's degree, but I'm not hosting a masterclass. Like, I don't have that big of an ego,
Wow. Take off my jacket and I just came
More
out
water.
of the office.
So thirsty.
Okay, so let's get this party started. I just really want to help as many people as I can just understand how simple.
Okay, I'm sorry. My cat is being so cute. Hopefully she doesn't move. Okay, hold on. Sorry, my room's a mess. Look at her. Look at her. Oh my gosh. Look how sweet she is. She's just like a white fluffy cloud sleeping on my bed. And she looks so pretty next to the colorful blankets. Okay, this is also a great screen grab. Maybe I'll use that in the thumbnail too.
It actually is to just, redesign and design your own life. I'm just really passionate about, breaking away from mainstream and doing things your way. And so with that, there was something I was going to say
Redesign your life, break away from mainstream. What does that mean?
Before I jumped in, and it completely escaped me. So maybe I'll remember. Okay. So, I think I was talking about my masterclass. Whatever. I'm going to jump into the questions. Maybe I'll remember what I was saying. Okay. So, let's do this. Okay. All right. So, one of the ways in which that I'm just really passionate about social media, and not because I'm passionate necessarily about like content or the content people are posting. I'm more passionate about it in the sense where it is a way to be creative. It's a way to help a lot of people. It is what I feel to be one of the most efficient ways to reach people. And you can work from anywhere. And if you can master attraction marketing, and you understand the importance of a personal brand, which is timeless, like through no matter what changes happen in social media. Oh, and that's the thing I think I was going to talk about, whatever. And if you can master this concept, then you will never have to worry about getting a job ever again for the rest of your life. I mean, if you...
Okay. Ah! I woke up my cat. She's glaring at me. You have never built a business on social media. You were in an MLM. You were making money off of a downline. And what is with the hatred of the job? Okay, you know what? Here's how I feel about my job. I'm not passionate about it, but it's fine. And you know what? I love having a job that is just fine. I love it. I don't want my whole life to be consumed by my job. And now that I have been working a dreaded job, a 9-to-5, like one of those peasants out there, stupid little employee, I've been doing that for 4.25 years since the fall of 2021, when I got out of Beachbody. I got a 9-to-5 job, and it's fine. My boss is a reasonable person and a nice guy, and that's priceless. Do I want to be my own boss? The fact that they make entrepreneurship, first of all, being in an MLM is not being an entrepreneur, but even if you were an entrepreneur, as my boss is, so my boss owns the business, I don't want that job. I love that I get to show up and do my tasks and do them well and be done at the end of the day. I have a whole separate computer and phone and email and everything for my job that literally you cannot reach me when I'm not on it. No customers can reach me. So when I'm off, I'm off. No one's calling me, no one's texting me, no one's emailing me on the weekends, on vacations. When I take a vacation, I'm literally on vacation. I'm not creating content. I just got to go on vacation, and nobody from work called me and nobody from work emailed me. And it was great. And I got paid, because you have paid time off. In an MLM, you are never off. You can work from anywhere. You have to work from everywhere. So quit acting like being an entrepreneur is somehow better than having a job. In some ways it is. In some ways having a job is better. It depends on everybody's personality and what you want out of life. And I feel like day and night, such a better work-life balance now that I'm out of MLM. I have gotten back to reading for pleasure. You don't have to be constantly consuming personal development. There's so many reasons having a regular 9-to-5 is really great. And you are not a better or a worse person for being an entrepreneur or having a 9-to-5. They're both equal, valid things. You are a worse person if you're a scammer and you're being deceptive and you're lying to people.
Like going and working a job, like obviously that might not be for you, But I do have a lot of people in the school who they do have jobs. They have careers. They're professors, they're scientists, they're artists. There's people doing all kinds of things. But the thing is that they also understand the long term and are thinking about the long game, and understand that building a quality following and an audience and doing it correctly, and not just like through a bunch of like gimmicks or buying followers or anything weird like that, that's going to take time. So they understand also the importance of connection, networking, and bringing in different opportunities through social media. So one of the things that they're working on is figuring out exactly what they want that to look like. One of the biggest questions I get is like, what if I don't have anything to sell? And I think that's one of the question boxes. So let me answer this first. Guidance for monetizing and getting set up foundationally to support my growth. And this is specifically about social media. If you're just curious at all about social media, if you're on this phone right now, by the end of your life, it's like what you'll end up spending about 6 years on social media. If you spend an average of 2.5 hours a day on social media, or whatever that turns out to be, an average of the week, and some people spend more time than that, that ends up being like 6-7 years of your life. You could turn that time into a way to generate income.
No. Okay. I knew she was going there. Sorry, I scared my cat again. No. You do not have to monetize everything in your life. I swear to Lucifer, first of all, creating content for social media is completely different than consuming content on social media. I can scroll through TikTok I'm a millennial, so I watch Instagram Reels 2 weeks after they were popular on TikTok. And I like to watch a lot of YouTube, or actually just like have it playing in the background when I'm cleaning or when I'm working from home. And it's just playing in the background. I prefer it. Sometimes I like music, sometimes I like podcasts, and sometimes I like YouTube. And sometimes I just go on Instagram and I scroll through my For You page and I share the funny things and the memes, and also some activist content to my Instagram stories. So even though I don't post on my main grid every day, my Instagram story usually has at least 20 slides, and it's really entertaining. I find a lot of people really enjoy the Instagram story I've curated, just sharing other people's content. And that is completely different than creating my own content. And sometimes I am inspired by it to create my own content, but just this idea that, you're spending time on your phone anyway. All the time you spend on your phone, you could turn that into money. No, because the time you spend scrolling is not the time you would spend creating. And the time you spend scrolling is for your entertainment, to relax and watch other people doing stuff. And when you're creating something, that's a lot more work. These are not the same thing. So stop acting like they're the same thing. And then B, we don't have to monetize everything we do in life. I got a whole ass makeup artist certification, and I did not become a professional makeup artist because I realized I don't like doing other people's makeup. I just wanted to get better at doing my own. And I will do other people's makeup, like friends. I've done friends, like senior photos. I've done several friends' weddings, but they have to be friends that I know, that we can do a practice session, make sure they love it. I'm not going to do a bride that I don't know. That's too much pressure. And I also just didn't want to buy, I love doing makeup. It's a great creative outlet for me. I don't want to buy a ton of foundation in every color because I live in a big city that's diverse. So if I actually try to make it as a makeup artist, I'm gonna have to buy every shade of foundation. And then people have different skin types too. So do I have to buy every shade in a foundation that's good for oily skin and a foundation that's good for dry skin? And I don't want to do it. And I also don't want to have to lug everything around with me everywhere I go. So yeah, I did a makeup artist certification because it was something I already loved. And I got a lot better at doing my own makeup, and it was really fun. And now I'll do friends' makeup if they ask me, and people will pay me like $30 or whatever. And that's fine. Or I'll just do it for free because I love you and you're my friend. But we don't have to monetize every creative outlet that we have. And that's toxic hustle culture capitalism, which she just said she wanted you to be in your feminine flow and not be hustling. No, you're still hustling.
And also the average person, if you work 40 hours a week, I'm curious, how many hours a week do you work? Because the average American, I don't know what the average American works, but if you worked 40 hours a week, which I think most people work more than that, especially if you're like an educator, you're a teacher, you're doing stuff on the weekends, you're doing stuff.
How would you know? You have only ever done Beachbody for the last 14 years. And before that, you were a waitress, which is, I was a waitress too. But you have never worked a office job, a corporate 9 to 5 job. And I actually have a lot of friends who have normal jobs. When they're on, they're on. When they're off, they're off. And I just explained, like, when I'm off, I'm off. And my boss does not text my personal phone unless there's an emergency. And we all should have that boundary at our work. And if you don't, you're being taken advantage of. There's wage theft. We need more unions. And we shouldn't just accept it and be like, oh, this is just the way it is, so I need to start my side hustle on social media. Her type of content is preventing class consciousness in America and unionization and overthrowing our billionaire oligarchs. So she's harming most people by putting this kind of rhetoric out there.
When you get home, you're grading papers, if you're doing more than what you're getting paid for. And that's 11 years. So if you had to swap the 6 years that it could take to, to build something on social media and to work 6 years of your life, that's like cutting your work life time in half. That's what, 6, 7 more years of time that you get to do the things you love with the people that you love. And I really feel that freedom that you can get from social media.
What if I love scrolling on social media after work?
Media is one of those things that I will just never stop being. Oh, I was talking about my beginning with social media. That's what I forgot. I was in art school. I was in multimedia design school. I've been like passionate about photography, cinematography, videography. I was that girl, that always had a video camera, and I was always documenting everything when I graduated high school, and always had a camera on me. And so when I went to school for multimedia design, I started really getting into, blogging and posting online in just like an artistic way. And then when social media came, I thought it was so cool that there was a way that you could be creative and make money. I thought that was so cool, but there wasn't a lot of people doing it at the time. And so now more than ever, like back then you would have to like do something like network marketing or something like that, but now more than ever there's so many more opportunities. And what I don't think that people realize, there's more opportunities than you are even seeing online. So if you're going to...
Okay, so I've mentioned this before, but she brags about this 140K like organic growth that she had on Instagram, and how she hasn't bought followers and she hasn't done ads. And she just admitted she's like a photographer. She went to school for it. She's really good at design. She's really good at like the visual stuff. She's also incredibly conventionally attractive, has a good sense of fashion, and has like conventionally attractive body type, which of course she worked for. I get it, in Beachbody, but also you have some genetics helping you with that too. And she started Beachbody in 2011 and Instagram as well. Now think about like the landscape of Instagram in 2011. If you were taking really good pictures and you were very conventionally beautiful, you could build organically on Instagram. There is not more opportunity now than there was in 2011 on social media. It's not the same. And I think she doesn't even know. I think she has such a lack of awareness. She's so out of touch because she hit Instagram and Beachbody at the right time and had the right skill set to make it big on Instagram and monetize that through Beachbody and building a massive downline that supported her and was able to show off this like really, luxurious lifestyle on a visual platform. And it's Like, do you not see how much like timing and luck and this is not something you specifically can teach anybody, because other people don't have that same skill set, and Instagram is a different animal than it was. And TikTok is also like, I'm not a TikTok expert, but you can go viral pretty easily on TikTok, but then you can also just like flash in the pan. None of this stuff is sustainable.
In which that freedom that you can get from that's going to help you understand everything from editing to branding, to attraction marketing, to copywriting, to sales. But if you come to the masterclass on Sunday, you're going to be able to double your reach in 30 days just from what you learn at the free class on Sunday. And you're going to be able to take that workbook and you'll be able to take it home. You're going to be able to start to tap into your own personal, your hero's journey. And I think that's like one of the main things that I notice about people who are successful in social media, and what aspect of what has made me successful is that hero's journey and sharing that journey. And so if I were you, I'd focus on personal branding. I wouldn't focus on, jumping on trends. I wouldn't focus. I mean, you can see there's people with hundreds and hundreds and thousands of followers out there, millions of followers out there. Everybody has their own shtick. Everybody has their own thing. Some people stick to comedy. Some people, like, if you're not an entertainer, like, I love that for them. I love that people want to put together these skits and they put all this work into these reels, but you can make it happen in just 15 minutes a day. And that's the thing that I want you to understand. Like, yes, one of my dreams was to be an art director. I would have loved to be a cinematographer. I would love to take my professional camera, which I have many of them. I like collect cameras and lenses. I love photography. But I learned real quick when I had started having kids and I had 2 under 2 and now I have 3 under 6, that my days of going out and spending hours creating content and doing photo shoots and putting together, reels weren't even invented before I became a mom. And I was doing this full time already for 8 years before reels even came about. I'm now going on 15 years of connecting people with social media, and social media helping them grow their businesses, whatever that is, and
15 years of being at the top of a pyramid scheme. Also, like, a lot of what she said was just like, what does any of this have to do with what you have to offer? Yeah, some people do comedy on social media, some people do whatever, but what are you saying? Like, do you just like the sound of your own voice? I don't get it.
Months ago was only in one industry. Now I'm helping people in every industry, no matter.
And what qualifies you to help people in every industry? Because the millions you made was off of your downline. You never have had a business. Like, why are people buying this stuff from her?
What industry you're in, understand the importance of building a personal brand. Taking what I have been helping women make income with for I was going to say thousands of years.
You haven't been helping women earn income. You've been coercing women into a scam where most of them lose income. Most of them lose money. You haven't been helping women get rich. You've been helping women lose money so you can get rich.
Thousands of women. I'm like thinking of like this, like I'm writing a storybook in my head, like I didn't get any sleep last night. And so this hammers at home, like a tired ass mom went to bed at 1 a.m. or remodeling a bathroom, was up at 6:30 a.m. to get in my workout, had appointments all day. The baby was partying from 3:30. From 3:30 to 5 a.m. I don't have the time that I used to have. So when these 20-something-year-olds with no kids or these.
Yeah, it's great that you're a mom and you don't have as much time. It's really great that you were at the top of a pyramid scheme for years before you even had kids. So you were already making all of this money off your downline. So you didn't have to work as hard because you had a downline supporting you financially.
These millennials with no kids are, making all this content. It's like, yeah, because they have all the effing time in the world. So
I hate when parents say that. Oh, it must be so nice. Like, you don't have kids, so you have all the time in the world. Okay, like, I made that decision. I made the decision to not have kids. kids because I wanted to have time to do other things. It doesn't mean my life isn't stressful. It doesn't mean I have the same, like I have energy to devote to a side hustle. It just means that I don't have children. And so I'm involved in a lot of other things. I contribute to society just as much, if not more so, than a lot of parents. I've chosen not to have children. It doesn't mean I have all this time. It doesn't mean I'm sitting there scrolling on TikTok. I can if I want to. I do read a lot. Yes, I read 105 books. My sister, who has kids, read like just as many. Maybe not as many as I did, but she read a lot last year too. So, and like I have a whole like book chat with all my cousins, and they all have kids and they read like a ton as well. But like it's all about priorities. It's all about, and also don't act like you have kids, but you had a downline supporting you financially. And me, when I was in Beachbody without kids, I was hustling constantly and not getting the results. So who do you think had more stress and strife in their life? Like, also, let's just not do the comparison. Like, why do we have to compare it at all? And I mentioned my sister. She's one of those awesome moms who's like, I will even be the one to be like, oh, but like I don't have kids, so it's and she will reinforce. She'll be like, no, but you are still allowed to be tired. You are still allowed to be stressed. You have different problems. You have different stressors in your life. Your life is not less stressful or less tiring because you don't have kids. It's just there are different problems. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. You're right. And she's right. And she's one of the awesome parents who doesn't think like, oh, I'm a parent, so my life is just so much harder than yours. Like, okay, you chose to do that. Nobody forced you to have a kid, although the government is trying.
So if you work full time and you're also trying to like break free from the rat race and you want to build a more relaxed life with more freedom where you call the shots and you make your own schedule, I'm the girl to go to for that, because I'm going to help you to learn how to start to break into.
I'm going to need to roll the clip of Liz Lemon going, oh, brother.
Oh, brother.
Content creation in just 15 minutes a day. And so by the end of the masterclass on Sunday, you're going to be able to start building that foundation. So you can, I don't know if on the replay.
And this is just the same BS. Oh, only 15 minutes a day. That's the stuff she would say. And the other top MLM huns would say, you can build your business in just 15 minutes a day. And then as you get in and you start doing, build it in the nooks and crannies of your day. You start doing their little trackers. You're doing everything right. And then they're like, okay, well, like, why didn't you invite like 100 people? If you wanted to make it happen, you would. Oh, you're inviting 3 people a day? Like I originally pitched to you that you could change your life in inviting 3 people a day. Well, like if you're not getting there, like why aren't you inviting 100 people a day? Oh, read Be Obsessed or Be Average. And this guy, decided to watch the football game and he hadn't hit his goals for the month. So why is he sitting around watching the football game? If you have goals, why aren't you working? That's how it is. Do not be fooled by this because the goalposts will move. If 15 minutes a day isn't getting you that following, then she will move the goalposts. That's what she does.
This, if you comment growth 25, you can click the link that's pinned here of your live. But if you're watching the replay, you can just DM me growth 25, or you can go to my.
Okay, I just realized this is an hour long. So we are going to watch the second half of this later. Where are we? 11:21. Okay. Yeah. So, because we also watched the stories and I had to do a rant about masculine and feminine energy. So we're going to have to rebalance my channel. It's too much Amy. She's going to be like, why are you obsessed with me? That's it for today. I'll see you guys in the next one. Please like, subscribe. We're on the upper end now of closer to 600 subscribers. It would be awesome to get to 1,000. And we are going to get back to more Amy in the next one. We're going to watch the rest of that live. And please use the Google form to submit any internet nonsense that you see. So former MLM Huns onto their next grift, current MLM Huns, MLM hoppers, manifestation coaches, feminine energy coaches, masculine energy coaches, whatever nonsense you see, please submit it because it's open season on all these scammers and I'm coming for them. So Have a great night.